Look at this fully animated Fantasy Windmill. The blades are spinning, the flag is blowing in the wind. But what if I told you there are 0 keyframes in this entire scene? And even crazier, the base mesh has exactly 0 faces and 0 triangles. Today I'll show you my ultimate lazy workflow using the Skin Modifier to model and procedurally animate this game asset in minutes. Let's go. As usual, we are not going to delete the default cube. In edit mode, select all vertices, press M, and merge them at the center. Now I'll add the Skin Modifier to this single vertex. The cube is dead. Long live the cube. By alternating between Extrude E on the Z-axis and scaling the skin radius with Ctrl+A, I will quickly create the base shape for our windmill. Notice I am only using the Skin Modifier right now. And here it is, a simple polygonal tower blockout. Now it's time to add the Subdivision Surface Modifier after the Skin Modifier. I'll set the levels to 3. Let's tweak the shape of our tower a bit to make it look right. Now that we have the tower, let's take care of the ventilation. I'll make a dormer window right here on the roof. Next, I'll create a new mesh, a circle with 4 vertices. I'll assign a Skin Modifier to it, and then 2 Subdivision Modifiers. One goes before the skin, and the second one goes after. Both set to the default Catmull-Clark mode. And just like that, we have a donut. I'll duplicate it and turn it into a window frame. Here I'll just copy this dormer window so they face all 4 directions. Perfect. This tower is giving me heavy Rapunzel vibes. So let's build an overhang balcony with a 360-degree view. I should probably make some railings so Rapunzel doesn't fall off the balcony ahead of time. A few more structural elements wouldn't hurt. Here I'm using the Skin Modifier to make a gear. I made a similar one in my other tutorial about the magical spellbook. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I reveal different Skin Modifier secrets in every video. There, it became a magical seal, but here it will be a structural element for our building. Alright, but visually this tower doesn't look completely stable to me. I'll copy a part of it and create a much more massive foundation. Oh look, all the geometry just disappeared. Only the edges are left. By the way, the skin modifier is warning us with that white triangle and exclamation mark. No valid root vertex. So just select one vertex, preferably an outer one on this mesh, and click the Mark Root button in the Skin Modifier panel. See, our shape is back. When we copied a few mesh points from the main shape, its modifiers were copied along with them, the skin and one subdivision. Let's make the foundation a bit more square for some variety. To do that, I'll duplicate the subdivision modifier. So now we have a modifier stack, skin, subdivision, subdivision. Let's play around with them and try switching their positions. See, you can make shapes more boxy or more rounded just by tweaking the subdivision modifier parameters. Alright, now I'm not worried about the tower, or Rapunzel. It looks very stable. Let's add some square windows. Notice how I make the frame corners look sharper. Well, here's the third type of window, an arched window. I simply copied the upper windows, and I'll add a mirror modifier to these. 2 windows on this level are enough, because this is where the rotation axis for the windmill blades will be. I'll copy this cross-shaped frame element from the upper window. Let's turn it into the axis for the blades. For the blades themselves, I'll use the array modifier. I'll create an empty object and use it as the center of rotation. I'll make 3 blades by rotating the empty object 120 degrees. Now I can create and edit just one blade and instantly see all 3. This is so convenient. Now that the blades are hanging on their rotation axis, piercing the windmill tower, I really want to reinforce this whole structure so it doesn't break apart from the stress. I think I'll add some more support beams to the facade. Yeah, this is how I picture it. In our fantasy world, a design like this fits perfectly. Now I feel good about the structure. Still, a little more fantasy decor wouldn't hurt. Now here's the thing. We need to start our blades. They have to be spun by the wind. First, let's select everything that should spin and parent them to one central element using Object Keep Transform. Now in the Y rotation field, let's type this formula, hash frame times 0.1. Look, the blades are spinning, but I imagine them spinning the other way. I'll type a minus sign before the 0.1. Yes, now they spin in the opposite direction, but it's a bit too fast. I'll change 0.1 to 0.05. Oh, that's perfect, exactly how I imagined it. Speaking of wind, many people in the comments criticize me saying, hey, you said one skin modifier, but you immediately slapped two subdivisions on top of it. Well guys, the subdivision modifier is like the air. We use it so often that we don't even notice it anymore. Just like the blades on our windmill are spinning, but you can't see the wind. All right, now I got an idea that the windmill should also turn to face the wind. So we are going to animate the rotation of the tower itself, but using a slightly different method. First, I'll parent all the tower elements, like the windows, balcony, etc., to the main tower body, just like I did with the blades. And now I'll parent the element holding the blades to the tower. Now, if we spin the tower around its axis, we see that the blades are attached to it and rotate along with the tower while simultaneously spinning around their own axis. Excellent, let's animate this. I'll select the main windmill tower, which everything is attached to, and which will spin around its axis. I open the graph editor. In the transform panel, under Z rotation, I right-click and select Insert Single Keyframe. In the graph editor, I open the Modifiers tab. Yes, Modifiers again. I find and select Z Euler Rotation, and I choose Noise. If we play the animation now, we'll see the tower spinning back and forth like crazy. Let's adjust the scale in the noise panel, make it bigger, around 150. This is our rotation frequency. Then increase the strength to about 5. There we go, I love it. What's next? We have a spire at the top of the roof. I would add a waving flag up there to really emphasize the wind effect. Let's make it using the exact same technology as all our previous objects in this scene, which is using the skin modifier as the base. If you watched my tutorial on how to make the magical book, this looks similar to the bookmark, but here it will be a banner. Don't skip ahead, we are going to animate it in a very interesting way. You'll love this. The flag is ready. Let's animate it. First, add a Displace Modifier. Watch closely and do as I do. create an empty object. In the Displace modifier, find the Coordinates field, choose Object, and then use the eyedropper to click on our empty object. That's it. Now the displacement coordinates are tied to the empty, and if you move it, the flag starts to ripple. Pretty realistic, right? Now we animate the X location of the empty object using the expression #frame times 0.1. Good, the speed looks fine, but we need to make sure the fabric doesn't flap around where it attaches to the spire. To do this, we'll use vertex groups. Select the vertices on our base edges where the skin is attached. Click the plus in the Vertex Groups tab, name the new group something like Wind, and hit Assign. Now in the Displace modifier, under the Vertex Group field, select Wind. You can see our flag smoothly changing its shape. The closer it gets to the spire, the stiller the fabric is. It looks pretty realistic. Now here's a neat trick. If there are two vertices on an edge, and one has a weight of 0 and the other has 1, if you create more vertices between them by dividing the edge with Ctrl+R, those new vertices will smoothly transition the weight from 0 to 1. Long story short, I'll just add a couple more vertices between them. But this is fantasy, right? So let's add a bit more fantasy flair. I'll add another wave modifier. I'll set the height to 0.4. In the Vertex Group field, I'll select Wind again, and set the speed to 0.1. Awesome, a true fantasy flag. I could stare at this all day. Well, the windmill turns, the blades spin, and the flag on the spire flaps merrily in the wind. Let's admire this. By the way, people in the comments are constantly asking me how to turn on these fun random colors in Blender. Look, here is how you do it. I got so carried away that I built this whole windmill without saving. Let's save it and check the file size. Look at that, 820 kilobytes. So much beauty taking up so little space. In the comments, some people still call me out, saying, you promised one skin modifier, but you piled 2 subdivisions on top of it. Right now, I'm going to perform a deadly stunt and delete all subdivision modifiers from the scene to see what happens. Can we do it without them? I'll also turn on the statistics so you can see it for yourself. Here we go. Look at that, we got a wonderful low poly model. I don't even know which version I like more. Maybe this low poly one. Look at the stats, you can see it for yourself. 573 vertices in the whole scene, 509 edges, faces, 0, triangles, 0. This is the base mesh in edit mode. Alright guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, check out my Gumroad, and all that good stuff. See you next time.